Welcome to the Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. I'm Nico Kritsiotis. We've got a packed show lined up for you. We're speaking to the champion trainer himself, Justin Snaith, about his great success at Lomaransia King's Plate Day. And we'll chat to him about all the other matters, including him coming up to Joberg to participate in the feature season up here, which starts next month in February. At the end of the show, on Nico's notebook, we'll discuss the Apprentice Championship and where the different apprentices are for this year and for the rest of the season. And also we'll talk about an exciting competition starting on our very next podcast. It's 10Bet giving away 500 Rand betting vouchers each week here on the Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. Stay with us. Welcome to the Direct Line. Our very first guest, and a great privilege to be speaking to him, is champion trainer Justin Snaith, all the way from home base in Cape Town, after what has been a phenomenal week for our champion trainer. 6 winners at the Lomaransia King's Plate on Saturday afternoon, and it's just riding high. It is a great pleasure to see you once again, Justin, and congratulations on a magnificent weekend.
Great, thank you, Nico. My brother said to me that I'm useless on LKP day. So then I asked him after the day, was that better? He says, yeah, no, you're improving. So
okay, it's traditionally been a bad day for you, but
not according to me.
No, I always remember.
We always do better on Met Day. Yeah,
but
whatever comes King's Plate Day, Met Day is certainly a better day. But we've won a lot of, won 8 races on Met Day. So I suppose compared to that, it's never as good. But I think this shows what might come on Met Day.
Yeah, well, 6 out of 10 is fantastic, and it was highlighted obviously by the Group 1 winner with Wishlist, which you had told the public, Justin, that was a very, very live runner. Whilst Double Grand Slam was the favourite, you said to everyone, don't disregard Wishlist, because she's come a long way in her preparation, and she did the job, and she did it in fine style.
Thanks, Nico. Look, she was flying at home, and the prep was better. I saw somebody on social media said, oh, Snaith brings Double Grand Slam and is half fit. That wasn't quite what I meant. I meant that the prep could have been better. The problem when you have a filly like Double Grand Slam is every time you have a race, everyone runs away. So we were 1 run short. So I did everything I could at home to get her as fit as possible, which I thought I did. But as you would know, there's just nothing like a race, especially when you're going. There's a reason why we're running at 1800 now in the paddock stakes, and in the Majorca, a mile, back to a mile. The idea was that a filly would run the paddock stakes over 1800, then into the Met. The whole idea is trying to fill fields and encourages fillies to go that way. Unfortunately, I have a filly that her max is a mile. She only wins the 1800 last year because she's so good. It's as simple as that. You can see her action. Watch her in the straight. She doesn't have a stayers action or a miler plus action. She's power. There's not a filly in the country over 1200 that will come near her in my mind. We only just see her in a mile because she's that good.
And then just talking about Double Grand Slam, focusing in on Met Day, will Andrew Fortune be back on her? What's the riding arrangements that day?
Yes, absolutely. Nico, I've been down with stable jockeys. I've done all those sort of things. The less I'm committed to one jockey, the better. I mean, if you think, you married to somebody and you have one person, there's nothing worse than having that situation with a jockey. I never forget Mike de Kock saying something like, the 2 people that I could always, I can divorce tomorrow would be Diane, and I think at the time it was Kevin Shea or something, which wasn't good because I think Mike stayed in the spare room for 3 nights. So
But talking about him,
but
talking about him, I mean, him and you have this great banter between you that goes on. I mean, it comes after years of, training racehorses together, and actually at the end of the day, behind the scenes, being mates. That friendly rivalry and what you say on air, I mean, that's all clever banter. At the end of the day, there's competition out there, and each one of you wants to beat each other on the racetrack.
Look, absolutely. It's out of respect. It really is out of respect. I have a lot of respect for Mike. I have a lot of respect for Sean Terry. I think they're amazing human beings. I think they married well. Their wives, as nice as they are, their wives are better. I find them. As I said, I have a lot of respect. I think they're great horsemen. They've survived the challenges that they've had in their careers, and you just respect them more. But Mike is that guy that you can literally have a drink with until 2 a.m. and he's still standing, and he doesn't change. He's that guy. So don't worry. I did send him a message on Sunday morning. I sent him a video of crickets making a noise that he's been quiet.
Yeah, which you want to rectify and work on immediately. Just very quickly, you as Justin Snaith obviously followed, after your dad, Chris, who I saw that wonderful photo. I think it's on your WhatsApp profile of you riding on the beach with your dad on a horse behind you. Matt is going the same route as you. It's wonderful for these generations to continue, because it's wonderful for the South African industry for this to be happening. There's a lot of it out there. So just your dad is still involved in your stable. It's still right there all the time when you need him.
Look, Nico, I can't emphasize what this guy does. You see a young trainer is complaining that he's not making it, okay? You get these guys like, I only got so many horses and that. And yes, they're trying. But if you see what my dad does, he's 75 now. He arrives at work before me. I arrive at work, he's already sitting in his first poker game. And he's online. So he's sitting in the office at 5:30, and I think he's running away from my mom. But he's sitting in that office at 5:30 in the morning. He then goes first string, gets on the lead pony. He rides my lead pony, leads all the difficult horses. I shouted him like an employee to hurry up and get the next horse, double grand slam, go get the next horse. Then he rushes back to the office, and then he drives to Muizenberg. So he drives 35 minutes to Muizenberg, and he walks to Cork Bay with his mates. They have a coffee, and then he walks back. Then he comes back to the office, and he gets back into his poker games. And it's just unbelievable at that age. He rides every day on a horse.
But it's a massive operation you've got there. Firstly, you've got lots of owners to please. And to keep on the boil. It's a massive operation you've got in terms of the planning, the preparation, and which horses are going to go for which races. And now I heard from a little birdie the fact that you're coming up here to Joberg, and you're going to test the waters.
Yeah. Look, Nick, the timing's right. There was a lot going on in Johannesburg that I was not happy with. I didn't think it was good for racing. There was a lot of animosity, whether on which side of the fence you want to say was causing it, whether it was the Cape guys against the Joberg guys, the Durban guys against the Cape. It's water under the bridge now, and we move on. I think that Joberg Racing's going in the right direction. You've got Gabby Soma up there. Shame. He's done a phenomenal job during the after what has happened there, and for the first time, I feel I'm comfortable to come back into play. I have my first horse in Johannesburg already, Lowveld Lily, that ran third in the fillies race on Saturday. That was a sort of a come-on run for your fillies guineas in Johannesburg. I think it's on about the 17th of Feb. So that'll be my first run in Johannesburg, 7th of Feb. She's with Alec Laird at the moment. Then the rest will probably come up for your big day. I think it's in the beginning of April. You got some beautiful weight for age races. So those horses will probably come from our setup at Summerveld. And we'll raid into Johannesburg. So yes, I do feel it's time to get involved in Johannesburg. Mike's been aggravating me about it, and now I've got Lawrence Werner saying, "Yeah, you're good in your little bubble there, but it's time to move out of it." So, but they always say in life, don't poke a hungry bear.
Yeah, and it's great to see you up here, by the way. And I look forward to calling your horses home as I've done in the past for you. Just quickly, let's talk about. you being in Cape Town. I know in one of the interviews you did, I think it was the last race you won, or one of the races you won, where you mentioned Hong Kong because you trained a winner for Hong Kong owner, and you mentioned Hong Kong also because of the World Pools. But what's your position on that? I mean, you've got such a massive operation. Is there any way you want to leave at any stage now? I mean,
Nico, I'm in a very fortunate situation. Yes, I can train. I know I can train. I've given my life to this from a youngster. I've traveled the world. I've worked with some of the best trainers in the world. I've worked for numerous trainers in South Africa. I know I'm capable of this, but for my opposition, what they weren't expecting is my family and the team we've built around us. I'm not that guy that you wanted to have a Jono buying his horses. And, everyone says they can choose a horse, but try convince someone to spend 2 million, 3 million on a horse. And that's where you see the difference. Jono's got that knack where people trust him. And we come to a sale, we're ready. And I have the most incredible owners. Funny enough, I think Hong Kong are trying to poach some of my clients here in South Africa because we're just very fortunate of the people we have here. I mean, look, it's quite funny. I never thought that the ladies would be saving the day. You see like Mary Slack and Gaynor Rupert, and, there's been some phenomenal women that have been involved in racing that have come to the fore. So, Susan Culmanson and people like that. The list is actually endless. It's quite funny. But I have that clientele that every trainer dreams of waking up to. So there is high expectation, but I do feel I'm the right guy for this situation.
And you know what, your polo background comes into it too, in relation to someone like Nick Johnson. I spoke to you just before we came onto the show about the fact that I was in Natal and I bumped into a lot of polo names. The Riddle family, I think, were involved. The Crow family were involved, and I know Tommy's involved with Nick, and of course the Johnsons too. That's also quite a thriving industry behind the scenes that I don't know much about. Do you get a lot of crossover from there still towards horse racing?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Look, I played for about 8 to 10 years with all those guys. So I used to arrive in Natal with my string and my 6 polo ponies. And then I'd go up to Karkloof and all those places, Shongweni, play SA champs, Natal champs, play all those tournaments at the same time, training a July winner. But the interesting thing is I never met Nick Johnson in racing. I actually met him on a polo field. We played a few tournaments. Together. He used to come pick me up. Can you believe it? I was staying in a flat in Umhlanga Ridge, and Nick used to come past and pick me up and take me down to the polo field. And that's how it all started. I was probably 30 years old. And that's where that relationship started. I thought it was always everything's got to be added. So there's all different aspects to training a horse and the things you need, especially nowadays. You've got to be charming on TV. There's all these things. And I always felt that from my background with my father, that horsemanship was our key. Everyone was like, wow, your dad's a great horseman. Wow, did you see him show jumping, beating the 1974 Olympic champion in a jump off? And I always respected that. I like to hear that. And I think so many of the young trainers are all jumping into being a trainer, but they haven't done the groundwork. And I never wanted to be that person. I wanted everyone to say, that guy deserves it. He did the groundwork. He worked as assistant for so many years. I mean, my father said to me, if you can work for St. John Gray, you can work for anyone. So I was sent to all the different people because St. John's so tight. I mean, I was eventually freewheeling down the freeways to save money, and then put the bread in the toaster because the bread was off. I couldn't afford bread working for him. And my father always chirped me like, that's the brightest trainer. He's the guy you need to learn from. Mike Bass, all these guys. I was very fortunate to see Terence Millard train. These are all things that I knew when I needed it in a situation. Those are the things that are going to help me turn around a horse in a big race or anything like that. So I was very adamant about the groundwork.
Now, the Met is coming up, not too far away. You know, I saw already six horses have accepted, of which majority of those 6 are yours. I think, to be frank with you, that it stops there. I mean, I don't mean to be funny or anything. I mean, there's only 20 horses that could be eligible for the final places. But you'd have to think you've got a strong chance of going close there again.
For sure. You know, absolutely. I mean, this is that the everyone's like, oh, you're nervous there. I want to be that guy in that situation. I don't want to be the guy with the 50th wide shot. I do give a lot of respect to Dean Canamae's horse, because he has won the July. It's amazing. Craig Zaki rocks up on that horse and he just rides the most incredible races. I mean, in the Lamara King's Plate, Craig Zaki was the rider of the race. I mean, he just pulls it out the bag on the day as they go across the line. Boom. I just go, not again, not again. So we got to make it difficult for him here. Make no mistake. I need to set a pace. We don't want to have what happened in the July where they went so slow. That I didn't understand. Oriental Charm in front going, you know, pulling and easing back and easing back. We never saw that coming, to be honest. So I definitely want to make sure. Look, I'm that guy. We just want honest pace races. Sometimes it didn't work in my favor and sometimes it does. It worked in Wishlist's favor. It didn't work in Double Grand Slam's favor in that race. We set the pace. So I'm quite adamant. I hate the slow run races. It's not Group 1 racing, especially in South Africa if we're going slow. So the Met, I do need to make sure. We're not looking for a flat-out race. We just want an honest pace. But certainly those horses look strong.
Having watched the race again, though, the King's Plate, just last night, actually, whilst people may be a bit critical of where 8 on 18 actually ran, I thought he ran a particularly good race. Under all the circumstances, the fact that it was his first run back too. What sort of feedback did you get from Oisin Murphy regarding him on the day? Because I thought he stayed on really nicely in the end.
He did, but Oisin said that, what a horse, first of all. He's a serious racehorse. I never thought I would be in that situation. It's very rarely that I'm ever. So what happens with the breeders and breeding here in South Africa, it's so important for breeders to ensure that horses don't get biliary because of export. Because everyone's breeding a horse in the hope that it's bought by an overseas buyer and it goes overseas. So all the stud farms have literally got rid of all their ticks. And we're traveling our horses to different places where they're going to Kenworth for a gallop. So when these horses do get bitten, they have no immunity to it. So I have horses getting biliary, not, you know, they manage it no problem. But because this horse has been so isolated from biliary, it's like malaria and all those sort of diseases. It just hit him so badly. And then I was out of it. He got it. I was out of it. And the minute I stressed him again, it came back. So I managed to get the gallops into him. And I just always knew that it's going to be tough in a race like this to come in without a run. So we made it quite clear that we are in this situation. And Oisin said that the only problem was that he just didn't give anything past when he got tired. And I do blame that he had malaria. So this horse can push past those barriers, no problem. That's what makes a good horse. They get to that point where they're a little bit tired, but they can push through it. He had no push through that moment. So when he emptied properly. Even though he ran a commendable race, it was an 8 on 18. So I need to monitor him very carefully into the Met. He will run a lot closer. Make no mistake. It's going to happen. He's going to run a much better race. But I need to be very careful and make sure that he runs better than that.
Good.
So I've got my work cut out.
You do, and I think he's a proper racehorse. And obviously, if all's not right, you'll make the right call. Let's talk about Andrew Fortune, because I don't think I've ever seen him this confident. So the rides just yesterday, if we talk about those rides yesterday, including that last race on the Mike Stewart horse.
Yeah, he came through the field. Yeah,
this is now showing you that he now, I mean, not that he didn't mean business when he first came back, but he's now in a position whereby everything's come together. He's getting the rides. He's got his weight down. He's confident, and now he knows how good he is. And he tells everyone how good he is. But he knows how to. I mean, he's just judging it perfectly. And when you're riding with a lot of confidence like that, he can get that big race winner, which he wants desperately to win that race, because and God forbid he does, because we're not going to hear the end of it for years to come.
No.
Because he's just one of a kind, isn't he?
Absolutely, one of a kind. If you told me a year ago I'm going to be using Andrew Fortune, I would have said you're mad. I've seen his comebacks in his 30s and his 40s, all those comebacks. He looked horrendous. I wouldn't put him on my lead pony. I don't know if you remember, he had that, he looked like getting a finish. It was shocking. But this time round, he's a different person. I mean, it's unbelievable. Listen, I am trying to contain him a little bit, but he isn't that guy to contain. You know, Snaiths have a reputation, and I'm like, Andrew, you know, you need to rein it in a bit. You're riding for the Snaiths. We do have a reputation of, like, people think, you know, and we'd like to keep it that way at some point.
All your owners would like you on the horse and would like.
Yes, my owners aren't the type that you need to be swearing on TV and saying rude things and stuff like that. You need to keep it in
reserve
check.
Reserve that for the pub, maybe.
Just remember whose colours you're wearing. You know, you're representing them. But he doesn't listen to an absolute word I say. But for me, I like his kindness on a horse. You've clearly that I'm a horseman. I love horses. It's one of the reasons. If it was for the money, I wouldn't. That's not what I'm here for. Otherwise, I would be in Hong Kong if that was a big thing to me. I just like the way he rides the horses. If he doesn't need to pull the stake, he doesn't. He gets it over the line. He's got this new thing he keeps saying to me. He wants to pat a horse in a big race as it goes across the line. I'm like, Andrew, just get the horse over the line. He's watching videos of these jockeys patting horses. I'm like, that's a 10 grand fine, you know.
Yeah, but
so
he thinks someone's going to pay it for him. Every fine he's got, someone's conjured up the money and paid for him. He's never paid a fine in his life, has he?
No, but he's going to start here. I can promise you, every fine he gets, he's paid. It's not coming from my clients. That I can assure you. It's his own fault. But there's a huge amount of respect from where he was to the person he is now. Yes, he's become quite godly, but I'm not too sure he'll get to those pearly gates for some of his past. So, but huge respect to him and what he's accomplished at the moment. And very much like you saw with Double Grand Slam, I respect that. He's a team player. I said to him, like, if you look at Rassie Erasmus in the Springboks, this year, Andre Pollard plays. The next day, it's Sasha, Lebok. We've got enough horse and strength to make this work with jockeys that my clients get the best possible for their horses. And I think that's been a huge success for us this season. You'll see Richard on my horses. You'll see if I feel Richard suits a horse better than Andrew, Richard's on. If I feel whoever the jockey is, they will ride the horse. But I need the other jocks to understand it. And if they don't like it, you know, I might use Muzi. If they don't like it, go ride somewhere else. My client, we're in a situation at the moment where my clients come first and my horses.
And it's working.
And Andrew gets it. He's a pleasure.
And it's clearly working for you because you look content with the decisions that you make. The jockeys look happier that they, you know, including a guy like Richard is happy and, you know.
Absolutely.
It's working for everyone out there. And may it work for you in the big race, on the big race day. Just tell us your main hopes on the big day, what your feeling is as we sit here now. I mean, we are still...
Okay, look, I really believe that this is going to be a big day for Snaith Racing. I've got Louis Burke and at home, my staff, Louis Burke, Gokon Terza. We have worked every day through Christmas and New Year's, all of us. We really have worked every day. Christmas Day, New Year's Day, we haven't missed. We want to push it through to the Met. I think follow the yard. We are really coming with some beautiful, beautiful horses, like right through. You got horses like Happy that's going to run in the Politician. I heard a whisper that everyone's saying the 3-year-olds are bad. Nonsense. They 3-year-olds can run. They just haven't. They will come right at the right time. There's some very smart 3-year-olds out there. I thought Jan van Gooyen maybe just one. It was all quite a lot for a horse. That's not his run. He's better than the King's Plate, right? It's not. You can't say, oh, now he can't run. That
no,
was
I think,
run.
I think, I think just in the way that he was, in terms of that he was sent down there and stayed down there. I think
exactly. It was all quite on top of each other. It's a lot for a young horse, and I still have a lot of respect for him.
Judge the 3-year-olds basically on his run.
No. So horses like that, obviously the Met. Cedar Gain was a big run in the Llama on King's Plate. He could be the horse that they all have to sort of watch out for, because he's just a very, very good individual. He arrived in my yard. He was fit and ready. He was actually coming for the Summer Cup. So the horse was he was ready. It just needed to sort out the starting stalls, which we have Milan in Cape Town, which is a big asset. So Milan sorted him out there, and he's a proper horse. And then obviously 8 and 18, need to get him right. Okavonga was impressive. The filly double Grand Slam, going to be hard to beat, I can tell you right now. Back into the Majorca. Sail the Sea, big runner. Every time Muzi was riding him, he says, this horse needs further. And I'm like, I needed a miler for the King's Plate. And I thought Sail the Sea could be that horse. And every time Muzi's riding, he's going, wow, he's feeding like a 2,000-meter horse now. And I'm going, okay, that's great, but where's my miler? So The juveniles, I've got some lovely juveniles. They're quick. Their Champagne Castle will be quick again. Nick's got a filly called Kawari Dancer. That's a little rocket. So very fortunate. And then I think we're going to be strong through the days. They got a few C division handicaps, and I've kept a couple sneakers there. So if you want to do a thing before the Met, you're welcome. We can have a chat for your viewers. I really think it'd be a big day, but I've got the ammo, and I'm going to be using all the people around that are friends of mine and, fellow trainers to help me, in Joberg, Natal, all those sort of things to get the best season we can out of these horses.
Final question before we let you go. You mentioned the Joberg scenario. Who'll be, so you said the horse was with Alec, the one that you sent up here, Lowfelt Lily. What's the situation? Are you going to be coming up and adding your flair?
So that's the first one. Because I'm still in the middle of the summer season here. I mean, we've still got Derby Day, we've got Met Day. There's a lot I need to focus on here. So, I mean, Alec's been a family friend for years, so I think he's a phenomenal trainer. So Alec will look after her for me, and then I'll come up. Then I'll probably send after Met Day. I see Frank Robinson's dropped quite a few horses. He lost a few horses after the Summer Cup, which I thought was a little unfair. He's a person I really respect, and I thought last season he was pretty much the trainer of the season in a way for what he had. He beat me twice in Natal in some of the feature races, and what he did on during your season over November, unbelievable. So he's in a position at the moment that I am in talks with him, and he'll probably look after some of my horses closer while I'm still stuck here in Cape Town. So I'll move a few to Durban after Met Day, and those are the horses that will be up there for your big day.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And Justin, I don't need to say it to you. I mean, you continue working extremely hard. The results show it. I mean, you're 5 million rand clear at the top of the trainers log. When I looked this morning, it's once again just it's a family business. People say about restaurants being family businesses that why they're so successful, well, because they're there all the time and they keep on checking the quality control, and you've got everyone checking it. There's nothing that slips through the cracks at Snaith Racing.
No, we're very fortunate. Look, Nick, I've got a family that's involved, and it's very, very lucky. Any trainer that wants to do a similar thing, you need your family because you need the numbers. Like I suppose Matthew will have Mike all the time, and his mom. I mean, I think Diane's the silent assassin there. you need help like that.
If you're on mic, though.
I don't think you have a choice.
Justin, great pleasure chatting to you. Thanks very much for coming on the show. I've enjoyed chatting to you.
Absolute
and I'll
pleasure.
see you down for the Cape Town Met at the end of the month. But keep on doing what you do best, and that is to train racehorses. Well done.
Look forward to it. Hopefully you'll commentate a race if I have to listen to Brandon Bailey one more time.
Thanks very much, Justin. All the best.
Cheers. Cheers. Enjoy. Bye.
Welcome back. It's Nico's Notebook time now. And on the last show, we looked at the Jockeys Championship, which is currently being led by Craig Zaki with Richard Fourie hot on his heels. Those two seem to have the race to themselves, provided that all stays well between now and the rest of the season. Of course, we're not even halfway through the season, which comes up at the end of January. But we're looking at the Apprentice Championship today. And currently in the lead is Girish Samabertia. Now, we haven't seen Girish in action since the end of October, I think it is. And he still leads by 3 winners. He's got 21 winners as we record this show. Of Kolisi Mbuto, who's in second on 18 winners, and tied third on 15 winners are Damien Pillay and Bhavish Sudu, both riding particularly well. 14 winners to Dazan Lowe, and then Kobedi James Dahaba and Savannah Valgello, two guys that we've had, or two apprentices that we've had on the show, both sit on 13 winners, with Girish Dukat on 11, and last season's champion apprentice, Mr. Plyke's on 10 winners. Brevin Plyke sits on 10 winners. I did have a call with Robert Moore, who is the main jockeys representative, apprentice jockeys representative here in Johannesburg, to just tell me where the different jockeys, apprentice jockeys, will be based for the rest of the season. And he tells me that jockeys Blaine Marks Jacobson and JC Burters have actually moved up to Gauteng from the beginning of this month, and they'll be based here. Edouin Muller has moved down to Cape Town, will be riding there, and Wilmien Fourie has moved down to Port Elizabeth. That is to join their contemporaries. Also, Girish Samabertia, who I mentioned, comes back to race riding today, in fact, is now based down in KwaZulu-Natal. And that's a look at the state of affairs with the apprentice jockeys. We wish them all the best. It's great to win the apprentice jockeys title, but you have to work hard at it. I've been particularly impressed by young Mbuto, who has caught the eye every time he's ridden up in Joberg. He currently sits in second, but it's anyone's race at this moment in time, with still 6.5 months to go in the current racing season. Our final port of call is our competition. Now, sometime last year, I asked people to send through their name and number, and I'm going to do so again because the competition actually starts on next week's podcast. So please send your name and phone number on an email to us. To the following email addresses: the direct line SA, one word, @gmail.com. The direct line SA @gmail.com. And all I need to know from you is your name, your full name, and your phone number. And we'll get in touch with one person on every single podcast. And there's an exciting competition coming up where you can win yourself a 500 Rand betting voucher. If you beat me each week, that is. You'll win the money. If you don't beat me, it's carried forward to the next week, in which case you can maybe win more than 500 Rand, depending on how good the guys are each and every week. And it involves tipping. That's all I'll mention to you at this stage anyway. It involves tipping winners on weekends. So that's it for the direct line powered by 10Bet. And thanks very much for being on today's show. My special thanks go out to champion trainer Justin Snaith. It's always a pleasure hearing from him. He's so candid and he's so relaxed about talking about racing matters. And he is by far the country's top trainer for the season. He's 5 million Rand clear, as I mentioned to him on the show a bit earlier on. In the Trainers Championship. That does it for another week. Thanks very much for listening to our podcast, and share your thoughts on this as well. Follow us as well on all our socials. From the team, cheers for now. Bye-bye.